Welcome, everyone. This is Raquel Tillman, CEO and Chief Advisor of Tillman Insurance Advisors. And I have the pleasure here to have a friend, a client, and a buddy here with me, Keri Bonfili. And we're going to be talking about today how to position your business post stay-at-home orders. So, just in case, if any of you guys have been on any calls or any recordings that you've done during this time, just know that if we come into any issues with technology, please be forgiving, right? But we do plan to give some good information for you business owners who are out there. And so I just want to introduce Keri, and then we'll kind of get into it just in case, we have any issues. But Keri is the CEO of the Bonfili. It is a boutique PR and strategic communication agency based in the Carolina, although she works with companies across the United States. So, welcome, Keri.
Thank you, Raquel. It's my pleasure to be here. I love this chat.
I know, right? So, in the Carolinas where we both sit, the states are coming out of the stay-at-home orders. North Carolina's in phase 1. Later in the month, they're looking to go to phase 2. South Carolina is a little further ahead where they're opening stores. Their restaurants are opening for in-dining. And next week, they're looking at opening barbershops, gyms, and pretty much beaches, pools, and things like that. So, us business owners, we've been kind of on hiatus or, scaled back. For the past couple months, since March, we closed our doors for in-person client visits, and now we're preparing to open up later this month. We're looking at how do I get clients? How do I get my clients back? What do I do with my business? Just off the top, what advice would you give a business owner right now as they're looking at communicating out to their clients and prospects?
Well, I think what you just said toward the end of that is really key, and it's all about communication. So this has been, clearly unprecedented times that we've just come through and are still in, really, and things can change rapidly. And so when you want to be successful in any type of business, small, large, medium, whatever size you are, communication's key. And I think now more than ever, it is important to communicate to your customers and not just push information out there and just hope someone sees it.
Right.
You really need to be thoughtful about how you're communicating. And really the key here is meeting your customers or clients where they are. So if you know that they're going to be going to your website to see, are you taking in-person appointments now?
Right.
Or when is your team available for questions? Or if you're a retailer and you've got a bricks and mortar location, are there any special guidelines or rules or things that you need to be aware of? And that you want to, communicate, you want your customers or your clients to understand the landscape before they get there. And what we've seen, and this is just personal experience, what we've seen is Google is the #1 place that people are going to see if places are open. And sometimes that information is not accurate.
Oh,
so as a small business owner, as a small business owner, that can be devastating. As if the last little while hasn't been challenging enough from a business perspective, you want to make sure that the information online is accurate. So are your hours, if you have different hours, then get on your Google page and sign in and change them to reflect if you're doing things differently from, an open perspective. So it's really all about communication and, is your website updated? And is that information on there accurate? Is
Right.
it I mean, if you're a restaurant, do you have a reduced menu? Do you have different ways that you're offering your customers, um, you know, delivery or carry out or whatever it is? There's all kinds of different nuances, and I think everybody is really, you know, from a consumer perspective, we just want, again, an awesome client or customer experience.
Correct.
And that all starts with communication. So it was a super long answer to your question. And so if I'm freezing, I apologize. I just got a message that the
No
connection
worries.
might be unstable. But anyway, as long as that's the only thing unstable on this
That's right.
in our
I mean,
chat, then we're good, right?
exactly. We're so used to like unstable at this point. It's just a new norm. But I do
Right.
like the idea that you talked about, and even something I didn't think about, which really was, Google My Business. If you don't have one of those in your business, you know, you should have that, and it should be updated as well as your website. So
Mhm.
as we talk about that piece of it and the communication out, are there any differences to someone who, let's say, has a brick and mortar like I do, and as I prepare for that, or someone whose business is virtual or online, or you're not providing a product, you're providing more of a service? Are there any differences in how they should communicate out and, position themselves to their clients?
Well, I think everybody, if you're running a business, most likely you have a website,
Mhm.
and that's the information hub for your business. And that's an owned platform. In my line of work, we put things in three categories: earned, owned, or paid. And
Okay.
those owned platforms, you should be leveraging as a small business owner. You should leverage them all the time. And you can
Mhm.
think about those as your website, any type of blog that you have. An interview like this would be an owned platform.
Mhm.
A YouTube channel, your Facebook page for your business,
Mhm.
and some, anything else that you are in charge of the content.
Okay.
Now, then you move into a different type of landscape when you start talking about earned platforms.
Mhm.
So earned in my business, that's where I play a lot, and I am using the term play loosely. It's work. Don't make no mistake about it. But what that means is that you are going to be working toward getting a credible third-party endorsement. So
Okay.
when you have a customer, for instance, or a client that leaves a Google review for you,
Mm.
that is an earned piece of property.
No, I never thought
And
about that.
it,
Mhm.
yeah, it makes you far more credible.
Mhm.
And then the pay, of course, is just traditional digital online, any type of advertising that you would do, that you would pay for. And
Okay.
that also includes sponsorships or charitable
Mhm.
partnerships where,
Mhm.
there's an exchange of goods and services or anything like that, where you are investing in something, and hoping for some kind of return or exposure or whatever it is.
Right.
So make sure, as a small business owner, that those own platforms of yours are consistent in their messaging. Don't have some hours that are different on Google than they are on your website.
Mhm.
Just make sure that everything your house is in order. I always
Right.
say that to people. Your website as a small business owner is your house.
Yeah.
It is, and it's also you as the business owner. So
Mhm.
that is people's first impression of you. It is like a handshake. And once you do it, you can't take it back.
That's right.
Maybe handshake isn't a great metaphor during right now, but
Just a
anyway,
fist bump.
um, it's a first impression. And so you want to put your best foot forward, as everybody does when they meet someone for the first time. And you really need to be thinking, as a small business owner, is my website really doing that kind of heavy lifting? And is it helping me put my best foot forward, or is it going to hinder me? And so that's what I mean by, you can't have big changes in information or big discrepancies in information and inconsistencies, because that damages your credibility as a business
Correct.
owner. And
Right.
I mean, can you imagine if your website wasn't what it should be? There are other public relations and communications agencies out there, and there are other insurance agents.
That's
And
right.
we don't want to give people a reason to go, go look for someone else. So,
That's right.
that's really key to have that stuff, all of that communication in line.
And you're really surprised at how much, especially now that people can't just go and drive by, or, you have conversations with people as you're out. You really are using those online platforms a lot more to search different things. One, because you have more time to do it than you may have had in the past. And two, you're just there. I mean, technology is in front of you. So, that is so important for us to make sure things are matching. So, I had a Zoom network meeting this morning, and one of the things that we were talking about was, as our businesses change, because some people's business models have actually changed when you think about that, and, making sure you update your website for that. So other than the website, so let's say my business model during all of this has now changed because it has to, or I've made a decision to change my business model to reflect something a little different. How do I go out now and reposition myself to get either new clients or reposition myself with existing clients? Any advice you would give someone who's now coming at the stay-at-home, repositioning themselves altogether?
Yes, I mean, I think the first step in that process is, clearly, as that business owner, you've made that very, very crucial decision to adapt to this changed situation. That's great. So you've already figured out, okay, I can't do business like I was doing it before, and I can still do it, but I have to, people are using the word pivot. It just always reminds me of that Friends episode where, they're moving the couch up the stairs, and I have a sweatshirt that says it too. So I can't, but pivot is pivot makes it seem like more of a football kind of play versus something that is well thought out.
That is strategic.
Exactly. And while you might have to do it quickly, you certainly are going to think about it as a small business owner. When we're all making decisions that are going to affect the way that we interact and build relationships with either our existing client base or customers, and then also looking for new ones, we want to make sure, like I said, again, house is in order, but we also want to make sure that we can articulate how things have changed. Again, go back to the communication, because if I'm sitting across the table from you and you're trying to explain to me how your business has changed, I mean, you just very clearly, you said very clearly at the beginning of this, these are strange times, these are unprecedented, and we're no longer doing in-person appointments, but we're always still available. That was very clear to me. Clearly you've thought about it as a business owner. You know exactly what you're doing.
That's right.
And you've made accommodations. So the next step is to meet your customers where they are. And if they're on your Facebook page, if they're on social media, which we know that social media time has, increased.
Yes.
Threefold, I believe, is the last thing so that, if you were spending 45 minutes on social media during any given day, it's now tripled, something like that. And it changes every day depending on what's happening. But at the end of the day, as a small business owner, meet those customers or clients where they are, clearly communicate how your business is different, and let them know that if they have questions, they can email, call, carrier pigeon, whatever's easier for them, and that their answers, their questions will get answered in a timely fashion, because that's really what people want to know is,
Right.
how do I get information? What has changed? And what if I have questions? What do I do? Can I
Right.
call you? Can I call, that's super important.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing those three things, you can't fail. And the cool thing about it is people now, more than I've ever seen before personally, because I'm a part of a few different small business networking groups,
Mm-hmm.
and locally here. Now more than ever before, people want to do business with small business
I
owners.
agree with
They
that.
want to figure out how to do that. And so when they come to you, give them the warm fuzzies,
Mm-hmm.
give them the great feels,
Right.
and they will then tell their friends and their colleagues and their coworkers
Right.
and anybody that they're interacting with. They'll sing your praises. That's what you want.
Yeah. You made me think about something, because I know at least maybe a month ago, people were going, oh my gosh, how do I get new business? You don't know who's doing what, where, why, and how. Do I really go back out and ask for new business? Or how do I go out and prospect for new clients and different things like that? But you made something, even in my mind, was people want to do business with small business owners now. And that is important as people go out and rebuild their clients if they've lost clients, or if they've pivoting into a new business. So getting new clients from that, perspective. So don't be afraid to go out and do what you do best, because people are looking for you at this particular point in time. They just have to know you're there. That's kind of how I wrap it up.
And it's important also, when we watch the news, whether it's local or national, local isn't so much in this category, I guess, from my perspective, but national news has a tendency to be a bit doom and gloom. And there is no question that we are living through something that is absolutely terrifying.
Correct.
To a lot of people. And it is life-threatening to a lot of people. So already your customer base and your prospects are almost running scared. And if they see you understanding them and their vulnerability right now, and meeting them where they are, and talking about, how your business is still here for them and for the community, and that you are doing everything you can as a small business owner to support, maybe it's a charitable cause, maybe you're going to run a food drive, yourself or something like that. I think people want to know. People want to know where the heart of a business really is. And if, without being super self-promotional, but very genuine about sharing that information, I think people believe that it's important. I want to do business with people that are giving back to the community where we all live and work. So it's that simple. And an interesting thing too, going back to the doom and gloom, we hear a lot about unemployment being higher than it even was during the 2008 recession, which went into 2009 and 2010. I mean, and I'm not laughing at, that was some serious business.
Yes.
And the unemployment numbers have skyrocketed well above what they were back then, and they were frightening back then. For those of us that, were adults and have gone through that. And I think the important thing to remember is, while people are saying, hey, the unemployment rate is it's higher than it's ever been, it's 14%. But wait, think about it like this. There's 86% of the population that's still employed.
That is correct.
So that means that your customers are still there. They might experiencing some different things, but they're still there and there's still opportunity there.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I guess it's just looking at it from the mindset of abundance. And I'm all about having the abundant mindset from that perspective. And as business owners, you have to have that in order for your business to thrive. So as I have some construction going on outside my window, I'm going to ask just a couple more questions as we wrap up. And I wanted to just ask, for you as a business owner, because, you know, we both have businesses, so we're in this with, you know, some of my clients and different things like that as I talk to them. How has your business changed, if any, and what any shifts or pivots have you had to make as a business owner, if you could share some of those?
I'd be happy to. My business is the business of communication, and so that's a big piece of it. And then the other piece is public relations, and unfortunately, a piece of my business that straddles both of those hemispheres is crisis communications. And because we are in a crisis right now with COVID-19.
Right.
I have clients that have kept me busier than I've been in a very long time. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that they trust me. They value my insight and my experience and my expertise, and that they are still marching forward and running their business the way that they're allowed to, within the guidelines that are set forth by our, you know, government. And so my business, going back to your original question, has grown really.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm really one of the lucky ones, and there isn't a moment that goes by during my busy days that I don't thank my lucky stars.
Yes.
That's the way that it is. And it's not like that for everybody. As a matter of fact, my husband just lost his job yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so, thank you. And, you know, we will be fine.
Yes.
Because I come from a place of abundance like you. And I feel like that door closed, and, you know, it's not just him. It was 30% of his coworkers. So this is a tough time. And I know that people are struggling right now to keep their doors open, to keep, you know, the cash flow going on. And I think we as a society, I want to see more empathy and less lines in the sand.
Yes, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think, you know, even on the networking group I had earlier, there were some people who, but everyone was still open. There were some people who were slowing down, but they're just open. So we just got to focus on moving forward. And as we end this, I wanted to thank you so much for being here and sharing your nuggets and your positive attitude. And, you know, I've written down some things for myself to go back and look at my website and my own things and my earned things at this particular point in time. But if someone wanted to find you because maybe they needed your services or had a question that maybe you didn't answer here, just know that you can ask questions, and we'll also answer them later or answer them as you go. Just let us know if you have some questions, and we'll pop in and answer those. But if someone wanted to ask you something more specific to their business, Keri, how would they get in touch with you?
Oh, there are so many ways. My website, which by the way is being worked on. So if anybody has a hard time getting to it, or for some reason, I've got a developer on it today making crucial changes and updates. And I do this about 3 times a year, and this happens to be the time. But you can go to the THEK Bonfili, BONFILI.com. And you can find me there. There's a contact form there on every single page of my website. You can email me. It comes right to me. You can call me. 704-961-8880 is my direct line. And you can also email me. And so that would be Keri, Keri, at thekbonfili.com. And you can send me a direct message on Instagram, which is at thekbonfili. And or you can DM me on Twitter, same handle at the K Bonfili, and then on Facebook. So lots of different ways to get in touch with me. I try to make it easy, but I will return calls. I will answer questions. And if you want to book a consultation, I do those all the time, especially for people who are saying to themselves, oh my goodness, I could never afford a PR person. You
Right.
can book me for an hour and you can pick my brain for 60 minutes. How about it?
Awesome.
You get the benefit of all the experience. I'm happy to help, and it's such a pleasure being here. And thank you for asking me to be a guest.
Of course, of course. You know, a good portion of my book is commercial clients, and I want to make sure I help them grow their business, because when they grow, I grow from that perspective. So thank you, Keri. Once again, this is Raquel Tillman with Tillman Insurance Advisors, and I'm the CEO and Chief Advisor. Thank you again, and join us for the next time. And once again, if you have any questions, leave them for us, and we'll come back and answer them for you. And have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.